we're twin brothers, so that means we had to share a lot of things growing up. One of those things was video games. Although, we wouldn't take turns playing our own files of Super Mario 64 or Yoshi's Island on the GBA. Instead, we would share one file and experience an entire playthrough together. We even shared the same penguin in Club Penguin. The two of us had beaten a lot of games together over the years, expanding from a wide range of beloved Nintendo series. But something doesn't sit well with us here. We have never completed a game with each other from our favorite series, The Legend of Zelda. That needed to change. And what better title to start than with the original, The Legend of Zelda for the NES, for the Switch. Today's story is about Ganon, the evil prince of darkness with a plan. He wants to steal a sacred Triforce, a golden relic that grants the holder mythical powers. However, he was only able to snag one half of it, the Triforce of Power. Princess of Hyrule Zelda smashed the Triforce of Wisdom into 8 fragments and hid them across the land to keep Ganon from easily obtaining it. So he just kidnaps Zelda instead and big chills up in Death Mountain. It's now up to a random dude named Link, or Link 2, to save the world. Our mission, find the 8 pieces of the Triforce, defeat Ganon, and retrieve both the Triforce of Power and the princess. And hopefully get married or something. Or just plop right into the game with 4 directions to go. Of course, we checked out the lore and hole in the wall. An old man is here and blurts out the famous line, "It's dangerous to go alone. Here, take this wooden sword." Sorry to interrupt. Pretty sure a wooden stick won't listen to our lonely thoughts, but our social life is close to none, so it'll do. We ventured off to the land of Hyrule, slaying Octoroks by blasting laser beams from our new best friend. Not much later, we stumbled upon the first dungeon, and then died before we stepped inside. This dungeon was relatively short and easy. We found a couple of useful weapons like the bow and boomerang, and fought the first boss, no sweat. That's 1 Triforce piece down, 7 more to go. Matt and I were feeling pretty good about ourselves, but then we made a huge mistake. We were exploring the vast, open world when we accidentally uncovered some stairs by burning down this random tree. These stairs led to level 8, aka the last and one of the hardest dungeons in the game. We had 6 hearts and 6 seconds to live. Nope, looks like we're gonna just walk out of here and save you for later. The neat thing about the first Zelda game is that it's basically an open world. You're allowed some sort of leeway for the order of dungeons that you want to tackle. With that in mind, we told our OCD to shove it. So we skipped level 2 and attempted level 3 next. Yeah, take that, OCD. Level 3 was our first introduction to Dark Nuts. Alright, we're gonna admit it. We are not fans of Dark Nuts. If you think you can engage them head on, then you're a fool. You have to play with patience, waiting for the perfect time to strike. Their weakness lies on their sides and their dark nut butts. Boy, look at the size of that walking pattern. They're like a herd of flies buzzing over a week-old pile of crusty dog turds. How about you guys just relax for a bit and let us murder you in peace? It's better to skip them if you can, but we found that laying bombs down was our best means of defeating them. Speaking of bombs, we revealed a hidden entrance by blowing up a wall. This led to the boss, and we could have beaten it right then and there. However, Mr. OCD insisted that we explore the entire labyrinth to fill up the manji looking map. Guess it's the price to pay for doing the dungeons in any order we want. So we accepted the terms, and good thing we listened too, because we found the raft. After we one-shotted the boss like an absolute gamer god, we grabbed the second piece of the Triforce and used the raft to set sail across the deep blue seas to a remote island where level 4 rested. Nothing exciting happened here. We found a ladder. Yeah, how about we turn the page and talk about the end of this dungeon. This is Gleeok, the boss of this lair. He's a dragon with 2 heads. And here's us, a boy with 1 head. But you gotta remember, there's 2 of us, so that's 2 heads, making this a fair fight. That's what we thought. In order to defeat him, you gotta jab at both his heads while dodging his fireballs, while dodging the ghost of one of the defeated heads. After dying 8 times, we forgot that we had a potion stashed in our inventory. So we got drunk on that and finally took him down. The 2 of us pocketed our 3rd Triforce shard and stumbled our way to level 2. Since it's an early dungeon, we breezed through it with little trouble. But level 6 is where things got a bit dicey for us. To start, getting there was no simple task. Our first obstacle we had to overcome was the Forest of Maze, basically the Lost Woods. Going the wrong way results in an endless loop of running through the same screen over and over and over and over and... they get it. There's only one correct path to take. And that path, fellow listeners, is north, west, south, west. That hint is going to cost you $30 because that's how much it cost us. Yeah, pay up, suckers. We tiptoed around the genie ghosts in an eerie graveyard and made the smart choice of avoiding battling a herd of scary Lionels. A battle that we couldn't avoid laid deep into level 6. This one room changed us. We'd like to introduce you to Wizrobes. They will never be invited to our birthday parties. They think they're so cool by teleporting all over the place and blasting you with magic spells as if they have an unlimited supply of MP. We were giving it our all until we got trapped inside a Like. It has this weird obsession with shields and will steal it from you if you're caught in its grasp. Now, if you get game over in the overworld, you start back at the first screen with everything still in your inventory. If you lose all your hearts in dungeons, you start back at the entrance. So that's nice, except for when you die repeatedly in the same room and have to walk all all the way back with only 3 hearts. Oh, and we died here a lot. Way more than we did against Gleeok. We're too embarrassed to share the exact number, so that info will remain classified. Thankfully, old trusty rewind function made this Wizrobe situation a tad easier because nothing was working. We spammed our wooden sword, dropped bombs, shot arrows, shotgun potions. The magical shield that we bought before going inside was supposed to help reflect magic, but we might as well have thrown $90 straight down into the trash. Our sword was useless half the time too because these fuzzballs called bubbles, of all names, run into you, preventing you from using it for a few solid seconds. With a sliver of heart left, we finally had our big break when a Wizrobe dropped a clock that freezes enemies in their tracks. We finished them off, and at long last, it was over. We entered the next room and had no time to react to another onslaught of Wizrobe magic. This time, we didn't even bother fighting them and gunned it for the door. But look who it is! A Gleo, with 3 heads this time. Mike and I simply didn't feel strong enough for this level, but we didn't want to give up level 6 just yet, so we left to look for more heart pieces. But during our quest to become stronger, we uncovered some hidden shops, and one of the shops was selling a blue ring, which boosts your defense. It costs a big old fat $250, which means it was time to gamble at the money-making game. Whoa, okay, let's go ahead and not show that one. How about we just show us getting the white sword? This sword upgrade rests on top of the waterfall, thanks to a hit an old dude gave us. So with our attack and defense boosted, it was time to return to the dreaded level 6 to see how much we have grown. We eventually made it through that room and defeated the Gleeok. The boss was a complete joke compared to the enemies here. 1 arrow to the eye and he ran off crying to his mommy. Level 6 done and over with. Hope this place burns. Matt and I ventured off to the right side of the overworld where we discovered another maze-like area called the Lost Hills. The correct path to take was to keep going up 4 times and voila, level 5. We meet blue Darknuts and yeah, they're annoying too, but we're kind of worn out from complaining about the enemies in this game. So how about we ran about the boss that's impossible to hit because of its impenetrable armor? Nah, we're just messing around. Dig Dogger here isn't that difficult of a boss. An old man provides a useful hint, stating that the Dig Dogger despises a certain type of sound. It should be obvious what that sound is because you collect an instrument in this dungeon. Feast your eyes on the recorder. We've been waiting all these years to bust out our beloved recorders from 5th grade music class that we most definitely took seriously and acted like we cared about it and did not mess around in class. You would receive a colored ribbon if you passed a song. In other words, karate. As you can see, I got my black belt for mastering Ode to Joy, the final test. So there is no way that Dig Dogger here dislikes the sweet sounds of this plastic beauty. Dig Dogger's armor, ears, and entire body got eradicated, and now only the last 2 levels remain. The recorder can be used to teleport you to dungeons that you beat, but it also has 1 more power that's required to progress. There's a couple of fairy fountains around Hyrule where you can go to replenish your health. However, there exists a peculiar one with no fairies to be found. With the almighty power of the recorder, you can summon level 7 by drying out the pond. This dungeon wasn't as challenging, but there is one unique-ish puzzle that stands out from the rest of the levels. Deep down, Ogoria stands between you and the door. He doesn't want to fight you. Instead, he just does nothing. The only sound other than the blatant, awkward silence is the sound of his little tummy grumbling. Luckily, we came prepared. In other words, we bought the food item. Giving the food to the hungry Goria will cause him to vanish. Maybe the food was so good he died and went to heaven, or it was rotten and he died and went to hell. Who cares? Yeah, anyway, we finished off level 7 by defeating the most pathetic boss yet, and made our way over to level 8 to seek redemption. And oh man, this place is a no fun zone. Not only were there both red and blue Darknuts everywhere, but there were also multiple stronger versions of the actual bosses in previous dungeons just hanging around. And the big man boss of this place was yet another Gleeok with 4 heads. Surprisingly, we were able to take him down in our first attempt, so that was cool. Mike and I collected the final Triforce piece to complete the Triforce of Wisdom and climbed up Death Mountain for the last trial in this adventure. You want to know what the first 6 rooms contained? Wizrobes! Yeah, that was fun. We don't know what happened to us during our entire journey, but for whatever reason, we just didn't have patience? I don't know. We were flying through each dungeon, barely even coming up with any strategies, which we kind of used one here for the first time, because look at the map of this place. Big old dungeon. So yeah, we're not ashamed that we looked up a map, mainly to locate the secret stairs and rooms to fill up the entire colossal sized map quicker, because that's what OCD wanted. It was against our will, okay? There was so much backtracking, getting lost, and a lot of dying. Like this one Patra, he gave us so much trouble for no reason. No invitation for you either, buddy. The virus, they were pretty chill. After a good hour of filling up the map and finding the red ring and silver arrows that you have to use during the final fight, we made it to the final door where Ganon is. But we were missing one area of our map. you saw nothing. We enter the final room for the final boss fight, as Link proudly waves the Triforce of Wisdom around. Ganon wakes up as if he was bored out of his mind, waiting forever for Link to show up. Yeah, sorry, we got a little caught up blowing up holes in Hyrule and trying to burn down every tree as possible for heart containers. He instantly vanishes and starts blasting us with fireballs. We didn't know what to do and resorted to using almost every weapon in our inventory. Well, we almost died, but we figured out what to do after we accidentally hit him with our sword. 2 more hits later, Ganon just turns brown and sits there, almost as if he was begging us to finish him off. So we launch an arrow directly into his throat and killed him. We take back the Triforce of Power, enter the room, and rescue Princess Zelda. Hyrule is now saved. But we didn't get married, so come on, just one kiss, please. After all that, or hold her hand, or give us a hug, or something. A pat on the back. We'll take anything. The 2 of us can finally say that we beat a mainline Legend of Zelda game together. Yep, it was a brutal adventure, and maybe we shouldn't have abused the rewind function too much. But there's no time for regrets, because those little moments are what will make this playthrough memorable. And we look forward to playing even more of them together. But we both know that you're looking more forward to a little performance from us. So pop some popcorn and enjoy.